What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Cover Band Central podcast for Tuesday, March 7th, 2023. I'm Steve Witchell in New Orleans.
Yeah, Cover Band Central. Tony B coming to you live from New Jersey. What's happening?
Yes. What is up, everybody? Come on in and say hello. Tell us where you're from. We will say hello back. Got lots to talk about today.
Yeah.
Already, Trent jumping in saying, hey, very
Hey, Trent, what's happening?
Enthusiastically saying, hey.
Hey.
We are broadcasting live right now, streaming live right now on Tuesday, March 7th at 7:02 p.m. Central Time on the Cover Band Central Facebook page, in the Cover Band Central Facebook group, and on the Cover Band Central YouTube channel. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is in the description of this episode. Click that link, hit subscribe, check out all the past shows we've done and all the other videos, great videos that are on our channel. But if you're coming in here right now live with us, come on in and say hello. We do the audio podcast too, and the link for that is in the description as well. We just got picked up by Pantheon Media, and they have all music related podcasts, great ones on there. So go check those out. But the link to ours, to all the ones we've done, all 194 episodes, are in there on Pantheon and Megaphone. You can check that out. We're all on all the other podcast networks as well. But check it out. Lots of people coming in and say hello. I love it. Trent was the first.
Lobby's jamming. Trent's first here. Oklahoma here.
He's in Oklahoma.
New Jersey here.
Melvin is joining from New Zealand, and it's the 8th of March. Yes, he's in the future.
Yes, future. He's a future man.
How does the future look, Melvin? Tell us.
Melvin, what kind of lottery numbers you got for tomorrow?
Corey's in Canada on Prince Edward Island. Very cool. Jen's in sunny Florida. I don't think it's sunny right now.
As opposed to overcast Florida, but it's nighttime, right? So, I mean,
yeah.
James,
Jim is in South Jersey.
Hey, South Jersey, Jim.
And CJ says good morning. So she's in the future, too.
Yes, she's in the future.
Also, Larry's in Jersey.
Larry representing.
Mick,
Garden State, baby.
Mick said good day from Australia.
What's up, Mick?
It's tomorrow there. And Donna's in Indiana. Says, hey, now. Hey, y'all.
Still today there.
She says y'all from Indiana. How about that?
Maybe she's not originally from Indiana. Maybe she's from
Jennifer is in Jennifer's a small town in
Vermont.
Vermont.
Is her small town that she lives in sick, or Cover Band Central podcast is sick?
I don't know. Either way, it's one is good, one is
clarify.
Bad. So, Linda's in Ohio.
Sick is good. Sick is like, dude, that's sick. It's not like, dude, I'm feeling sick.
Roseanne in Tennessee.
What's up, Rosie?
Tennessee. I just saw Cocaine Bear. I went yesterday to watch Cocaine Bear in the theaters. The movie. You're familiar with it?
No, I'm not.
There's a movie out called Cocaine Bear.
Is it about a grizzly on cocaine?
Yeah, it's based on a true story. In the 80s, there was a drug plane flying over Tennessee, and they dumped a ton of coke out of the plane for whatever reason it was, because I think they were
getting pulled over.
They were going to get caught or something, and in duffel bags just dumped a ton of it. And later, after that, as you know, people went investigating, they found a bear who had died from a cocaine overdose. So this movie,
they couldn't get him into rehab in time. There was no one else.
Right.
Where's Grizzly Adams when you need him, dude? He should have been watching out for that.
So this movie is an imagination, they call it, an imagination of what may have happened after the bear found the cocaine before he died.
Oh, so he's having like mad parties. He's dealing. He's
something like that.
He's king of the wild, even though he already is king of the wild. Now he's super king.
Yeah, it's pretty funny and it's pretty violent too. So, but I enjoy the movie. Very beautiful from my perspective, says Melvin. Love it.
Awesome, Melvin.
Lorraine's a
Lorraine's
in California. Yes, Lorraine's in California. Edward says, hey guys. Edward Daniel Simmons. Always coming back here. So we appreciate all you guys being here. You can interact with us during this whole show.
Yeah, full house here tonight. Awesome.
Ask questions, comments, tell us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, and whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's an interactive show, Tony.
Yeah, we don't want any fourth wall here.
Right, which we'll talk about with our topic. Did you read my breakdown?
Of course, I read all the time. I read everything.
Good.
I read the breakdown. I'm privy to what the topics will be for this evening.
And I don't think that's something we've ever really honed in on, that in particular.
No, it's a good topic to talk about because, well, we'll get to it, right? Let's talk,
Yeah,
let's
we'll get
talk
to it.
about current events, Steve. So what has
Current event.
happened since the last time that you and I have spoken?
I'm playing still like crazy. Bourbon Street, 2 gigs a day on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I start at 2 o'clock. First gig is 2 o'clock to 6:15. The second gig is 7 o'clock to 1:30 in the morning. It is 13 sets on Friday and on Saturday, and 11 sets on Sunday. And it's a thing still. I'm really kind of in a groove with it though, because I've been doing it now steadily with no weeks off for several weeks, and
Well, that's what we talked about last week. I said, are you getting used to it?
you get into a groove a little bit. Yeah, I mean, there's still the fatigue a bit, and more psychological fatigue than physical fatigue.
Hmm.
It's just thinking about, oh my god, I have so much to do. So Friday I went in, and the guy who plays keyboards in the day band, his name is Sonny. He sings with the band I play with at night as well, so he's doing doubles too, but he plays keyboards during the day and he sings at night.
Is he the
uh,
only guy doing doubles with you out of the two bands?
yes,
Okay.
yes, the only one with me. Yeah.
So he's your wingman for this endeavor.
Yeah, he really is, and he stands right next to me during the day, and we talk a lot and we joke around, and he's a great guy. He's very, very talented, and we get along very well. He plays every instrument, and he plays it all well. So
Yeah.
and he's 10 years younger than me. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, it's good. Definitely, Claire says good gig money. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm making good money right now.
Well, I
Um,
would hope so after 37 sets a weekend. I mean, dude, that's mega songs, right? So 37 sets, what, 10,
is it
12 songs?
37? Was it
Well, 13
13
and 13 and
and 11?
11. So 13 and 13 is 26, plus
37. You're
10
right.
is 36, plus 1's 37. Ding,
Right.
ding, ding. I
So I
passed the
so
math test, baby. That's right, Johnny. I got it right. Got
so
Johnny's
I
heckling.
said
Johnny's heckling me over here. I got to straighten him out.
so I say it's sunny Friday when we went in. It's early. It's like we get there around 1 o'clock and we start at 2. And um and I said, Friday I said I look at Sunny and I said we do generally about 300 songs every weekend, me and you. And then we did the first song and I go, that's one.
300 Club, baby. Only 299 more to go.
So I was thinking though, how accurate am I really with that number? I'm not sure. So I quickly downloaded a counter on my phone and counted, a ticker, and just each time we played a song, hit that ticker and counted for the entire day. I counted every song. How
Okay,
many
so
we?
hang on. So one day, 13 sets, right?
Yeah,
And you know how many songs you played, right? So
I
let me
know
guess.
exactly how many songs. Yeah.
Okay, so let me guess before you tell me,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
And what's
Do you want to
each?
guess each band or you want to guess the total?
No, I'm gonna guess the total amount of songs for 13 sets.
Total amount of songs.
For,
What
thir-
you
for
think is 13 sets? You want to guess it like without going over?
Yeah, like I'm gonna like Price is Right. I have to get as close to the number as possible without going over. And if I come within, we'll say 5% of being correct, then I'll take the extra challenge for the extra money to try and decipher how many you did with each band. How's that?
Okay, so we can consider this.
Stop the drummer.
It's a little game that we
I
play
will
here.
be
So
triumphant.
so let's go. All right, let's
All right.
hear what you got.
So each set is how long?
45 minutes.
So you have 13 45-minute sets, right?
Correct.
So 45 minutes.
But before you guess, I'm going to tell you
I'm
that.
thinking you can tell me all you want. I'm
Well,
pondering. I'm
I
deep in
have to
thought
make
right now.
sure I'm very clear with this because this is the total amount of songs that were played by both bands. But I didn't necessarily play on every song because there were some songs where, like for instance, during the day, one of our singers, if we get a request for a country song, he'll do it. He'll play acoustic and do it by himself. But I did count that as a song. And
I'm not
there's
getting into
other
details as to who played what. I'm just saying whatever
no,
you're.
but I'm just trying to. I'm getting to. There's other songs that we do that are kind of medley, sort of mashup things, and I counted each song as a song,
So
and
if you had
so
5
it may
songs in
not
the
be the
medley, right? I understand what you're saying. It would
it
be
may not be.
instead of
No, we don't do a 5 song medley. Like for instance, we do "Living on a Prayer" and "You Give Love a Bad Name" together, and we stop "Living on a Prayer" at the modulation. We go into "Bad Name," so we don't do that full the last minute
"We'll
of the song.
give
I would
it a
say,
shot."
yeah,
Bam, you're into the next song.
yeah. Um,
Okay. So
I,
regardless of who played what,
okay, but yeah,
you
okay.
still counted the songs.
I counted every song that was played. Yeah,
And if I heard correctly what you're saying, not every song is maybe accurately documented as a 5-minute duration
yeah. I would
because
say
you have
90,
some medleyized things in there. But you're
I,
playing it's a 45-minute set regardless of
90, 95, 96% of the songs are full songs.
okay.
So, yeah.
So, you know, 10 to 12 songs a set max would be 130, right? If you did 10 songs. And then if you did 12 songs, it'd be another 26. So we're talking anywhere between 130 and 156 songs. 156 being the real high side. So I'm going to place my wager here.
Okay. Are you sure you've completely talked this through?
Well, you got 13 sets, right? In
13
one day,
sets.
and
Right.
each set is 45 minutes.
Right.
So for each set potentially within that 45-minute time zone, right? If you played a bunch of 5-minute songs, right? It would be like 9 songs would be 45 minutes. If every song was exactly 5 minutes. But not every song is 5 minutes, some are less, right?
Yeah, but there's something else you're not taking into account there.
What's that?
Well, think about our topic today.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'm pondering it. I haven't revealed it yet, but yes, what would be part of that topic? The downtime in between to take requests? Ho! Stump the drummer. Look, the drummer just got one up on you, didn't he? Okay. So, take into consideration the potential for, hey, we're getting a request and I have to go on my phone. I have to look at that request. I have to tell the band what we're playing, right? We have to get that in. So then maybe you're down to 10 to 12. Maybe you're in the 7 to 9 range now. Songs per set.
Okay.
So if I took an average of 8 and did 13 sets, that would be 80 and 24, it'd be 104 songs per set, right? Per 13 set day, night combo event. So I'm going to say
All right.
I'm
Give
going to
us
say
better.
I'm going to say you had 107 songs
107 is your answer.
in the 13 set day. Yes.
You're going to lock it in?
I just locked it. I'm locking it.
You've been stumped.
107 is incorrect.
What do
It
you
is under. You are under.
Okay,
I will give you what? I will give you a second guess.
88.
How could you say 88 if 107 is under?
I'm playing my bet. I'm coming down, down.
No, 107 is under. It's
I heard you.
no,
I heard you.
right.
So if 107, but all right, so we're not averaging in 3 days. So 107 is under, huh?
Yes.
Wow. But then I won. Listen, I won.
I know, but I'm giving you a second guess.
I was not supposed to go over. You're tricking me. You see, it's like blackjack. You're trying to get me to guess again, and then I'll go over the number, and you'll be like, "Brant, you're wrong."
I'm giving
Okay.
you.
So no.
You.
So hang on.
I'm just
Rewind.
granting you a second guess.
Bobby, document this. He's documenting this right now. I was not stumped. You can't say stump the drummer because I didn't go over. If I went over, then yes, I would have lost. But I'm under right now. So my
Right.
competitor, my competition, who I don't see anywhere near me here presently, would
Right.
have to be closer to that number than me in order for me to lose. So I understand what you're asking, but I just want to state for the record that I have completed the challenge. I have guessed under the limit, but I'm going to guess again.
You did, yes.
Try to
But
get
I was.
closer,
I'm just
okay?
simply granting you a second guess, just for fun.
Okay, so with that second guess, do I get a question? Do I get to ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. So
We're making up the rules as we go along. So
hot,
sure.
warm, cold. How close am I?
You're warm.
I'm warm. Okay, so 107. How about 116?
That is very close, but
You've been stopped.
I haven't because I didn't go over.
you still didn't get it right.
All right. So if we said it was,
It's close though.
if I originally said 10 songs a set, it'd be 130. So I don't think it's 130. I think it's realistically, if 116 is still not the number, I'm going to say 123. That's my best and
Okay,
final. Best and final.
that is close as well, but you went over. So I'm going to show you. There it is.
120. All right.
120
So
with a quick counter.
Yeah.
120 songs on Friday. And so I didn't count them on Saturday. I figured it would probably be about the same. And then I didn't count them on Sunday either. But Sunday we only did 6 sets in the night band.
So
So
that is
figure take away about 16
all right. So
songs.
my
So
average.
on Sunday, it was about, I would say 104. So 120, 120, 104 is 344 songs for the weekend.
That's a great number, 344. So 9.23 songs per set. So I originally said 8. So I was close. I was only off by a song.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's an average that you're taking, but it's not consistent because of the interaction that we have with the crowd.
Correct,
And
right.
it's not just taking requests. Sometimes there's other little things that, especially with the day band, there's other little things that go on. Like we do pause every once in a while to say, hey, we have a tip jar here, and hey, you could scan these QR codes and and you can take care of so and so behind the bar. And we just like do a little of that during the day. Also, if it's somebody's birthday, we play Birthday by the Beatles, but we just play a little bit of it. So
we just do it. We just do it up to this first part, like say it's your birthday, happy birthday to you, say it's your birthday, and then we out.
Yeah, that's it.
Happy birthday, Steve.
That's exactly what we do too. And we may do that. But I didn't count that as songs. And we may do that, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 times a day, depending on how many people walk in with their birthday. So it's a little tough to guess it because taking those variables into account, you don't know how long that's going to take. And sometimes we just kind of fart around between songs too a little bit.
Yeah, and what I gather from what you're saying is that maybe one set is 6 or 7 songs, and one song is 11. They're not all 8 or 9. There's not equilibrium there. So I get that. But so 120 songs average per day over 3 days. So anywhere between 344 and 360, 350, right? Because you're never going to get to the max amount because you're always going to have to talk and take requests.
Right. So Doc had guessed 130, so he was pretty close, but he went over.
Okay, so 100 and roughly 350 songs. Yeah, because see, I can't relate to that because our typical set is an hour and a half because most of our gigs are 2-set gigs, right? So we'll try to gauge it and say, okay, how many songs can you fit in an hour and a half? What's an average set, right? And if it's a 3-set gig, then you have to divide it, pare it back by the same amount of time, right? Because sometimes we play, like I played on Saturday, 8 to 11. It was just 2 long sets,
Right.
But if we play 7 to 11, then we'll do 3 sets.
Right.
Break it up a little bit instead of doing 2 mega long sets. Just to throw it in there.
Right.
But hey, nonetheless, man, that's awesome. You're living your best life. You're playing 350 songs a weekend. And what else could a cover band musician ask for? I mean,
I know.
Enjoy it while you have it, right? Because it's not going to last forever. And at least the time that you have now that you spend doing it, you're getting acclimated to it now. So in the beginning, right, probably for like the first 10 gigs, you're like, oh, dude, this is rough, right, man? But then you start to hit your stride. Like you said, you pack a cooler, you get in a routine, you start bringing food. You got Sonny as your wingman. He sounds like an energetic, positive guy. So he's there reinforcing it. He's standing right next to you. I don't know how close. If he's rubbing up next to you, maybe you're feeling some of his energy. And then, you're doing the gigs every weekend. And now you're months into it now, and it's becoming more of a pattern. and it's not so daunting of a thing. Because think about it, we talked about this probably 5 episodes ago, or even longer when you first had the opportunity. You were like, "Man, it's gonna be it's gonna be a big ask," you know? Like,
Yeah,
it's a big commitment.
yeah,
Like anything else, right? It seems daunting at first, but once you break through that barrier and you become that dark horse Steve Witchell, and you're taking responsibility for what you want to do, and you're engaged in it, and you're digging in, and you're committed, and now you guys are probably getting to be like a well-oiled machine between the two bands because you're playing so much every weekend. It becomes like, the benefits now that you reap after you get through. It's almost like if you start working out, right? Like that first month, you're sore every day, you're beat on, like, but you're constantly like giving yourself a pep talk to keep going. And I gotta work out today, and I gotta get up early, and I gotta do it. And but after a month of being in the routine, now you're like, yeah, I'm doing it, man. I'm walking the talk, and I am living it, and I am
yeah,
engaged in it now. And now I'm not so intimidated by it or thinking about how daunting of a task is. But now I'm starting to enjoy it and think about how can I start to really engage in this, and it starts to become part of your personality and your weekly routine and like your life, and it becomes something substantial. So
yeah.
enjoy it while you can, because at some point, right, it's going to go away. We know
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
lasts
I
forever.
can't do it forever, but
Right.
it does still feel a little intimidating sometimes and a little daunting. Um, and
But let me ask you, why is that though? If you've done it now for months on end, you know you can do it. You know you have the stamina. Your back's not hurting. You can certainly play the tunes.
um,
Everyone's accustomed to doing it. What's the daunting? And I
well,
don't ask this as a question to like challenge you. I'm saying like from your like, what can you share with us that's after all this time and given your comfortability with the situation, what is still the daunting part of it?
my back definitely does hurt still sometimes. It's not too bad, but it does hurt. But it's that, and I've talked about this before. It's that no matter how many times you've played a song, how many gigs you've done, no matter how many familiar you are with the band, the repertoire, the room, whatever, you still have to deliver. You have to, the people that come to see you, most often those people are seeing you and that band for the first time. So no matter how good you've done in the past, what you've accomplished in the past, none of that matters to that person. That person's there for that experience for that night. So you have to deliver. And maybe daunting isn't the right word, but I feel that the gravity of it. I felt it this weekend
You feel a
where
responsibility to
the
it.
responsibility of I'm in one of the best bands on Bourbon Street, if not the best band on Bourbon Street on the weekend nights. And it's not a lot of people get to do this in life, and I got to this point now where I'm playing in this band where I'm more than worthy to be in that band, and I'm doing a good job. I'm like I said, I've been in this for months now, since Halloween is when I started. So, but I still am very aware that I have to get up there and deliver. I can't phone it in. I have to.
Hey, but you can only bring your best to every gig, and that's all they can expect. I mean, listen, everybody out there right now, even all the people that are in our chat group, right? Any
Mhm.
musician out there that plays in a cover band knows that some nights you have a great night and some nights you have a good night,
Oh
right?
yeah,
It just
yeah,
depends on the night. And you have no control over that because there's many factors that can influence that, right?
yeah.
But you do the best that you can. And some nights your voice will sound the best it could possibly sound. And some nights it it sounds good, but you don't have that confidence or that stamina. Like, I know for me, some nights I know when I'm singing, like, there'll be nights when I'm like, I can definitely hold that note for 15 to 20 seconds at the end of that song. Like I can belt it out. I'm gonna be able to carry it. Other nights it's just not there, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's a physical element of what we do as musicians. But
Right.
you definitely
We are friends, Claire.
no,
Yeah.
Claire. I'm interviewing Steve to see if I wanted to play in my band because I don't know if he's good enough. No, we're lifelong friends. We're brothers from another mother, and
Yes.
we do this for,
Um,
our joy
yeah,
and to
but
benefit it.
I'm
You know
just
what I mean? No,
thinking.
no, I'm saying, so it's like I understand you feel that responsibility, that weight to deliver, and at
Uh-huh.
the same time, you bring your best, and it's like, it's almost like worrying that you're not going to be able to bring your best, but you're bringing your best.
But
So
I don't worry about it. I'm just
no, I'm
aware
not
of it.
saying you do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just because again, the person in the audience doesn't know that I've been playing all day, doesn't care that I'm tired, doesn't care that my back hurts. They want to be entertained, and it's my responsibility as a person in that band to deliver, to get the job done,
100%,
regardless of how tired or fatigued or I am.
100%.
And
Just remember, Steve,
come
tired is
one
tired to
o'clock in
say
the
the most.
morning, 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, or like 1 o'clock in the morning when we're still playing, and I've already been playing for 12 hours, or almost 11 hours, um, and I've played up to that point over 100 songs during the day. I still have to, for that last half hour, I still have to be up there and rocking and playing well and all that.
But do
So
you find some nights that when you get to that point, like you're legit beat, you're tired, you're bringing your best. But do you find some nights that at that point in time you're still in your stride and you're ready to go?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, sometimes when we're done, I still feel like I could play another set.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's different every day, but more often than not lately, I've had more energy. I'm more in the groove here now with doing these marathon gigs. But I'm also aware I can't keep this up, and I don't want to. I don't, and so I'm setting a target for Memorial Day to end one of those gigs.
But what if they say, Steve, we can go till the end of this year?
Well, I could.
I'm
I
saying,
mean, I
but would you? But is the choice that you don't want to, or are you
yes,
just setting yourself and let me ask you a question: why do you not want to continue it? Given all the
because it's
benefits, right? Listen, let me just weigh out the benefits. The
okay,
money, the 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 clarity and tightness that you develop with your fellow bandmates in both bands because 'cause you're playing so often, right?
right?
Your own personal growth and development as a player because you're playing more than you ever have, so you don't even have to
Yes,
practice. There's no time to practice. You don't need to practice because 'cause you're
I do
playing
practice
constantly.
though. I still
Yeah, I'm
do. I'm
saying but you don't need to, but you do.
yeah,
So you're learning new songs, you're practicing your craft, you've bought new gear to get a different tone, right? Because you needed that for this band. So it's
okay.
evolved you as a player, which inherently involves you as a person, right? So when you're constantly looking to better yourself in every area of your life, which we always talk about, right?
Hmm.
What a great opportunity to say, "Hey, like I'm in the stride now. I'm used to doing these 13, sets a day for how many months now, and I got more months to go." So my question is just, why are you setting that deadline? Just because you want to do something different, or just because in other words, if you're already in the groove, it's almost like if you're working out. Like I bring it back to that. Once you're in the groove of doing it, it's like I wouldn't want to stop because once you stop, it's going to be really hard to start again.
Um, yeah, it's because I want to do other things, and it's because the summer is very slow here in New Orleans, and it's also very, very hot. And I don't want to be, out in the hot for 12, 13 hours on, on stage. I mean, I'll play. I mean, I'm fine with playing, but I just, for the summer, I just don't want to. But I might change my mind. I might. We'll see. But I am kind of setting that. At least I'm kind of setting it as I have that option. I really have that option now. But
Yeah, yeah, but you know what I mean. Once you're grinding on anything, right? And any occupation that you do is for a living. Whether you're a musician, you're a carpenter, you're an accountant, you're whatever you do, right? Whatever in life you pursue, there's going to be times when you got to grind, right? Like you're in the grind and you're getting up early and you're hitting it and like in our situation, like you're doing 13 sets a night for 3 nights in a row, and it's like you kind of get in that rhythm of grinding and it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because for a while you can do it, but then you get accustomed to doing it, and then it's like you wanna make the decision like, "Well, I'm already here, right? Do I keep doing it because I'm already conditioned to do it, right? Or do you've had enough of it and you're ready to move on, you know?"
yeah,
And I just look at it as a perspective of it's great to move on, right? But try to ride the wave as long as you can because at some point they're gonna say, "Hey, guys, we don't want the band anymore," because that's how Bourbon Street works, right? Like, at some
yeah.
point,
But
they're gonna change the venue's gonna change the artist.
it's unlikely for Rockbox. Rockbox has been there for like 10 years in in that room, and
Okay.
there's no other band that would do better in that room for the weekend.
So that being
The
the
day band,
constant. right.
Day
That's
band maybe, but there's more of a dearth of bands than a surplus in New Orleans. So we end up getting asked to do like the day band Cornerstone. We ended up getting asked to cover other spots that are vacant with that band. So it's unlikely that either band is going to lose its gig anytime soon.
mm,
Um, I certainly won't leave. You know, if I'm going to leave one band, it's going to be Cornerstone and play with Rockbox. Um, but I'm not going to leave them with no bass player.
yeah,
You
but
know,
couldn't you pull the classic New Orleans Bourbon Street card and say, "Hey, I'm taking a leave of absence. I'll get you a sub, but it's
I
still
could
my
do
it's
that,
still
sure,
my gig. If I want
yeah.
to come back to it, I can."
Or I could just take one of the days off. You know, and
Yeah,
just
right,
kind of
right. Yeah, you got options, you know?
yeah. I do have options, but I guess maybe I'm looking at that deadline as because I want to psych myself into the fact that I'm going to be playing doubles until the end of May. You know,
And then
I'm going to
when
be
May
doing it.
comes, you'll psych yourself up again to say, "I'm gonna be doing this till September."
Yeah, yeah, it's and that's kind of how I get through it psychologically
I
during the
got
day. I don't think of it as I'm playing 120 songs. I don't think of it as I'm playing for 13 sets.
right.
I think of it as all right, I'm playing for 2 hours and 15 minutes until break. And that's it. Then I break it down into smaller bits. And
Sure.
then we're playing another 2 sets until the end of this, and then I have 45 minutes in between. And then okay, we're just playing this. So I break it down psychologically. It makes it easier for me to handle it. So yeah, so maybe that's that same mentality. I'm thinking I'm going to plow through to the end of May, and then you know that's what I need to do at this point. Which again, like you said, it's the most I've ever played in my life,
Yeah.
and I've been playing for 40 years. It's the most I've ever played in my life. So I think that's kind of the right way to go about it right now.
So our good friend Mike Schulte from Pork Tornadoes has asked me, Tony B,
Yeah,
do you gig out with that kit behind you or does it live there permanently? Mike, it lives there permanently. I have several kits. That the kit you're looking at behind me lives there permanently, and I have a completely different gig kit that I take out with me. Which, if you'd like to see, I could show you a photo, Steve. I'm sure everyone would be interested to see what kind of kit I play out live, right? Considering I don't bring the kit behind me.
right.
Let's see what we got. Here we go.
All right. While you're doing that, we're going to take a short break for the audio podcast, and we'll be right back
All right.
after these messages.
Yes.
All right. So let's see. You got it?
Hey, we're back.
Please, dude. Fucking A.
There you go. That's my gig kit. That's not a great
That's
picture.
still a pretty big kit, though.
Yeah, it's it's funny that everyone says that to me. They're like, "Oh, dude, you bring so many drums," and I'm like, "It's really not that many drums." But I guess I'm just used to bringing like a giganto kit. So when I bring like a non-gigantic kit, like I mean, this is it from the front. Let's ask our audience: would you consider this to be a big drum set, like something that would not be presentable to bring to a gig? I mean, it doesn't seem like that many drums to me. It really doesn't.
Well, I mean, the kits that the drummers use that I play with,
Yeah, I know. It's a
you
three-piece kit.
they have one tom, one up tom, one floor tom,
Yep. It's hard.
maybe.
I can't get it to focus so you can really see it.
Yeah, yeah.
There
It's
you go. But yeah, there you go. That's the kit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's still a pretty extensive kit.
Listen, it's every bit of an hour to set up and mic and get going. I mean, because you got to remember, it's not just the drums. I got a full mixer with me. I got a board. I mic everything. I send out my mix to the PA. He sends me back my monitor mix. I send him a clean vocal so he can put it out in the house mix.
Right.
And then I have, everything is in ears for me. So I listen to everything. I listen to my drums all mic'd up, and then I get a monitor mix, and I have my vocal. And it's, I must say, when I gig, I do bring a lot of stuff, but I thoroughly enjoy the experience, and it's like I'm playing to a record. So I'm going to play out with my band. I want it to sound really good, at least from my perspective, where I'm sitting,
Sure.
because it's like garbage in, garbage out. You know what I mean? If you
Right.
sound good in your monitor, you're going to play better. It's just a fact. It's just the way it is. Because if you
Right.
can't hear yourself, or something sounds a little wonky and you're playing too hard, it's like when the mix is good in your head, then you play comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's when you play the best, right? I mean, everyone out there can attest to that. You're at your best when you're comfortable, when you're in the zone and it's flowing and you're not thinking about it. And that's what I got to bring to get there. So it's
Yeah.
worth it for me to get there 2 hours early to a gig to settle it up. Because you got to remember too, like when you guys play bourbon, it's a house kit, right? Like the drummer shows up, he brings cymbals and a seat and stuff, right? Because it's the same band every time. Or is he bringing his own drums? Because I got to bring my own drums to every venue, set them all up in their entirety, mic everything, perform the gig, and then break everything down and take it with me. Nothing gets left behind.
There's house kits. There's just a kick, one up tom and one floor tom in both rooms, and then the drummers bring their snare, pedals, cymbals.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's what they have to make use of those kits. You know.
Hey, listen, I've played plenty of gigs on a 5-piece kit or a 4-piece kit. It's just that I prefer to bring more stuff. Listen, some of the songs we cover too, like we
Oh
just
yeah, there's
started.
nothing wrong with it.
No, listen, I'm not defending it. This is what it is. It's who I am. If you don't
Yeah.
like it, too bad.
Right.
But we play now. We just added songs like say "Subdivisions" by Rush. So you can play it on a 4-piece kit. It just
Mhm.
won't have the authenticity that it needs.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, it's your little playground there, and I would
Percussion playground, baby.
I wouldn't blame you for bringing even a bigger kit. What you have, but it's
Yeah.
just compared to what I'm used
Yeah.
to. That's
Sure.
a lot of drums.
And listen, I have brought giant kits with me, and it's just, it's great fun to play, but it just takes so long to set up and break down that, unless you're at a private venue or, if you're at a bar, like you always said, you got to be considerate of the employees at the bar, right? So if we're playing to 11 and they close at 12, you don't want to be there till 1 o'clock loading out, because it
Right.
took you
Sure.
2 hours to break down, a 15-piece drum set. It was great, for the gig, but so I've got it down to a science where I can set that whole kit up in an hour and I can break it down in an hour. Mic'd
Right.
up, ready to go. Hustling. If I got to take my time, an hour and a half, 2 hours, that's great. Because the
Right.
other thing too is I try to video at the gigs too. Set up a bunch of multiple cameras and get a bunch of angles, and it takes time, man. You don't realize that the more stuff you bring, the more stuff you got to set up. The more time it takes. But the end result's great, right? At the end of the gig, you have a video, you can document everything, you can go back, you can look at it. I got multiple angles. So yeah, I'm a little bit of a lunatic in that regard, but that's how I roll.
Right on. All right. So long answer to Mike Schulte's question, but
There you go,
yeah.
Mike. Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, you can't just say, no, I don't bring this kit. I bring another kit. Next question. Thanks, guys.
Right.
That would be very cold and not very.
For the people who are listening to the audio podcast, Tony was showing his kit that he uses on his phone. You can watch this. You can. Well, no, it's okay. I'm just letting them know that you can see this video if you check out the Cover Band Central YouTube channel or on the Cover Band Central Facebook page or in the Cover Band Central Facebook group, because we do this live as a live stream, and then we upload the audio to Patreon and Megaphone. So check out the video if you're interested. So you can see Tony's massive kit behind him and the kit he actually uses for the show, for the shows. So let's get to this topic, because we kind of went astray a little bit for a bit, but
yes,
but some of that is related. And the topic is because I shared a post, a meme, as I was doing my meme scheduling last night. And then
scheduling. I like that.
My meme scheduling for the group, or for the page rather. And then I shared one of them just kind of struck me. And it just felt like it was resonating with me. And I shared it in the group. And the meme, it just says, a great band will make everyone in the audience feel like part of the show. So it got some good engagement here in the group. And I was thinking, and I didn't really connect the two until I came up with this topic today, because the two bands that I play with are very different in the way they approach the gig. So, for instance, the day band, we have a tip app that we use. We take requests. We interact with the crowd a lot. If somebody walks in the room, we, and there aren't a lot of people in the room. If somebody walks in the room, we acknowledge them. We say hello. Where are you from? We talk to the people during the day a lot. So I meant to say before, with the songs, day band 42 songs, night band 78 songs.
So wait, if a guy walks in the bar, you guys are like, "Hey man, what's going on? What's your name? Hey Pete. Hey Pete, how's it going? Well, everybody, welcome Pete to the bar."
Yeah, it's something like that, kind of.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it's different for every situation, but
But does Pete walk in like, "Oh, man,
sometimes,
I just
yeah.
wanted to get a beer. I didn't wanna be, like, on spotlight."
Yeah, and sometimes they love it. You know,
Of course, yeah.
it's different for every situation, but the point is that
They're
we
like,
interact.
"Yes, I am Pete, and I am here."
Yeah, we break down that fourth wall, and we allow interaction between the band and the audience, and we ask people's names, where they from, take requests, let them shout it out, and it works well for that band, um, because we make good tips because of that. People like to be involved in that way, and it does well. In fact, Friday there was a guy that came in when we first started. We started at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he started tipping us $100 bills, and he bought the band shots 9 times. He bought a
That's a lot
band
of a lot of shots,
the
Steve.
the band a round of shots, and we didn't. None of us drank them all. We were kind of pouring them in other cups and stuff,
Whew.
um, and ended up tipping us over the course of the day $1,000 in
Wow.
10 $100 bills.
Yep.
So it makes us money by having that philosophy. The night band, however, they do a show more so. It's very predictable. There's no set list, but it's pretty predictable what songs are going to be played at what time. Um, there's a little bit of differences here and there, but for the most part, we're going to play this section of songs at around this time, and so on. And there's not a lot of interaction with the crowd. They don't like to take requests. Really, they get annoyed almost when people ask for requests, and as a result, they don't make as much in tips. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with their strategy. That's the way they want to do it. They want to have a show. They want to have that fourth wall up for the most part.
Well, you have to have the
Uh,
flexibility too to be able to take the requests, right?
yeah,
You
but
know,
they do. They do. They're just not. They don't seek to do it. If somebody comes up and says, "I got $100, can you play blah blah blah?" Generally, we'll do it. And even sometimes for $20, I got $20, can you play Van
sure.
Halen? And
Yeah.
even if we weren't like, and we do play Van Halen, a lot of Van Halen, but if we weren't going to play Van Halen at that point of the night, then sometimes it's like, oh, it throws a wrench in everything, and the band leader might get a little bit annoyed about it, even
But
if we're
but
getting a tip.
let me ask you a question. Do you have to play the song at the exact time the guy's requesting it? The guy comes and says, "Hey, here's $20. Can you please play Van Halen?" You say, "Yeah, we'll get to it in this set, but it may not be the next song."
We can do that, yeah. We
Or maybe
can. They
maybe the guy's leaving the bar with his entourage and he wants to hear it now before he goes.
And we do that sometimes. We do that where, or that band does do that sometimes. Where, yeah, we're going to get to it soon. You know,
Okay.
um, so, um, but it's still a different philosophy. It's a different strategy. It's more of a we want people to come see our show. We want people to come see us perform, as opposed to the day band where we feel like we want to make the audience a part of the show. So,
Sure.
but with this meme, and I'll read it again. A great band will make everyone in the audience feel like part of the show. That doesn't necessarily mean that there needs to be interaction. You
No,
can
but
make people feel part of the show without interacting with them,
you
without
can.
and them interacting with you, is
And
what
what
I
I
mean.
would say is that my 2 cents worth is that like for our band, my band, we don't take requests, right? Like we don't. That's not something we do. But yet, the front man in the band has enough charisma and personality to engage the crowd, where he'll talk with the crowd, right, and have a conversation with the crowd and interact the crowd with the show, but to the point of some banter and some interaction, and you know people will come up and hear a song, and we have some regulars that will come out to see the band all the time, so they'll come up to the front and they'll be excited that we're playing their song for them. But we won't take requests per se, like you were saying, just because we already have a set list and a show established. But within that show and set list, we will have interaction with the crowd, even as much as like I played a gig 2 weekends ago where the crowd was super, like one of those crowds where end of every song, roaring applause, right?
Right.
super engaged, super appreciative of the music, yelling out in the middle of songs. Guitar player starts playing a killer solo. Guys run up to the band screaming, "Yeah!" Right in his face with a beer in his hand, like it's totally excited into the thing. And like keyboard player Jim took a minute just to say, "Hey guys, we really appreciate your guys' enthusiasm and your participation in our show tonight, and it makes it so worthwhile for us to play, in front of you guys and to perform, and it makes it so much more satisfying when you guys are engaged and you appreciate the music and you're engaged in the performance and you're not requesting songs, but you're showing your appreciation for what we're playing,
Mm.
every step of the way." And like just having that conversation and give yourselves a big round of applause because you're like the best crowd we've had in a while,
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
and one of those, even though like the night before was the same, quality crowd, right? But you want to make the room engaged as part of your show.
Yeah. That is making the audience part of the show, doing that.
Correct. So
That doesn't
my
right.
2 cents was just there's other ways to, like you said, there's the fourth wall, and then there's breaking down the wall entirely. But I think there's 2 or 3 different ways to probably get to breaking that wall down, depending on how. And I think a lot of it is dependent on the front man in the band, right? Or the front person, whether it be a guy, a girl, whoever's fronting the band
Mhm.
really has to have that charisma and not be tentative or timid, but to own that room and engage the crowd in that experience, right? And I
Yeah.
think if you have that front man leading the band that is of that conviction and is, bringing the crowd into the experience with him and not like timid about it, that breaks down the wall immediately because there's nothing that puts a wall up more quickly than a front man who's disengaged from the crowd, right? Who's very good at what he does, but just doesn't have that connection, right? So that's something we got to think about too is how do you connect with that crowd to get them engaged, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You need somebody on stage that has that charisma, and can comfortably connect with the crowd. In the day band at Cornerstone, we have two singers, and they both are very good at that. And I'm also on the mic quite a bit, connecting with the crowd. And Sonny, who is a frontman in Rockbox, is also on the mic connecting with. So we're all kind of doing that. We all kind of make it like a laid back party at times. And like Marianne said, our frontman comes out with a radio mic and dances to the crowd. And that's another thing that's great. And that's something that Sonny does in Rockbox. He'll go out. He's got a wireless mic, and he'll go out in the crowd. He'll go sit down on the bar,
Hmm.
whatever. He's very good at that kind of thing. And in the day band, they kind of do that too, sort of, not as much, but
But that's
uh,
part of it too, right? You're putting on a show. So you could be the best singer,
right.
the greatest singer, and sing like nobody else can sing. But if you're on stage and you're kind of behind your mic and you're just, you belt out that song and it's better than the record, and then the song ends and you're just waiting for the next song and you're not interacting with the crowd and there's no, that's something we always got to take into consideration, right? Like you're there. Yes, you have to deliver the goods, like you said earlier. You have a responsibility, right, to do your part and play the song correctly, but you also have a responsibility to entertain the crowd, right? You have a responsibility to be a showman, right? To be a show person, to bring some sort of energy to that experience that those people are going to remember. And you could have played the song the greatest ever, but this other band didn't do it. They only did 90% of what you did, but they had all these other elements, and the people are gonna remember the other band. They're not gonna
Yeah,
care that you played that song note for note, and you sounded like the record, but you guys were flat, had no personality, the crowd wasn't engaged, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. You got to be fun. Corey
Absolutely.
said. Corey said, I play lead guitar in my band, and I found that using my wireless setup and going out into the crowd and playing gets some great reactions. Yes, people love
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Who
Buddy
wouldn't?
Guy does that. If anybody's ever seen Buddy Guy live, he's a blues guitar player, legend, and one of the most entertaining live shows you'll ever see. He goes out in the crowd with his wireless guitar
Yeah.
and walks right in the crowd and plays, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, people,
So yeah,
high-fiving them, patting them on the back. It's, you're really interacting with the crowd at that point, right?
yeah,
It's like going out into the crowd with a wireless mic. Same thing. People want to sing along. You're walking around. Hey,
yeah,
there's a singer. He was just on stage. Now he's at the bar with us. Let's take a selfie with him, type of thing. And it really it makes a big difference. So you can't. I guess the point I'm making is that you could play 100% of the song correct to the best of your ability, note for note, great, perfect sound, mix is great, everyone's playing their part. But if you don't have that connection with the crowd, it's not gonna deliver the goods.
Well, yes and no, because part of the Rockbox thing is, it's a show and the crowd absolutely loves that band because the band is really good.
Yeah.
The band is playing songs very well, playing cool songs.
But I'm saying
Uh,
that
uh,
unto itself, Steve, is the engagement, right? Like the crowd is engaged with the band, even though you're not having banter with them. There's a
right.
connection. So that's all I'm saying. If you don't have some sort of connection with the crowd, you could be playing the greatest song ever, but it's not going to matter. You need a connection.
Yeah, yeah, and there's a connection that's built into the show with these guys. In fact, they have the same exact banter, the same exact jokes for each part of like each song or each part of the show that they do every single time. Every single the same
Right.
exact words, the
Right.
same exact uh,
Yep.
little shtick,
Well,
whatever the shtick
you're in a
is.
different scenario, right? Because the shtick is like, it could be different people in the bar every 15 minutes, right? So it doesn't
Oh
matter.
yeah.
It's the same
Yeah,
thing.
and it's yeah. So to them, and there's people that come back that are regulars that expect that,
Yeah.
and they like it, and they'll still laugh at it when they see that thing, even though they've heard it a million times or seen it a
Right.
million times. So, but me being in the band now for like 4 months, um, now it's like, okay, yeah, I know exactly what's going to be said here. I know exactly how much time I have before the next song is going to be actually started. Like for instance, Don't Stop Believing, we do. And they start, the keyboard player starts playing it. And Derek, one of the singers, says, he starts singing the Black Eyed Peas song. I got a feeling everything. And it goes along with that
Right.
chord progression. And then and then like the guitar player will walk over to him and be like, no, no, that's not the right song. And he'll be like, what? It's a shtick.
Right.
And then he starts singing Blinded by the Light, which goes well again with that chord progression.
Right.
And then they said no. And then Vince, the guitar player, starts playing My Heart Will Go On, the Titanic song, Celine
Uh,
Dion, same chord progression. And then sometimes Sonny will come in and do Uptown Girl, same chord progression. In fact, does you ever see the Axis of Awesome?
yes.
Yeah, they do that same four chord progression
Yep.
over like a ton of songs. Um, so during that period of time, I have there's like a subwoofer kind of thing by me right on stage, and I kind of just sit down for like 2 minutes while they do that.
Mm.
So I always look forward to that time. Like, all right, I know Don't Stop Believing's coming up. I'll get to sit down for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and see on the flip side, like when what we'll do with my band is we'll mix up the set every gig. So if the same people come, it's not the same songs, and that's what keeps them coming. That's our shtick, right?
Right,
Because you might see the band 3 times this month, but we're not going to play the same set every time.
right,
There's mainstay songs, that we'll always play that are staples, right? But then
right,
there's other variations of because, like you said, you can only play so many songs at a gig, right? So if you got 150 songs in your repertoire and you can only play 45 or 50 songs max at a gig, you got a lot to be able to mix in there,
yeah.
and jumble up, and depending on the venue and the type of environment, and calling an audible, like that's something too, right? You can gauge the crowd. If the crowd's up dancing, and all of a sudden I look at the set list and I see songs that are coming that are not really going to be dancing, you call an audible. Hey, let's go into this, or go into the medley, go into that, and then you keep them up. So I think the show's dynamic in that way too.
Yeah, that's cool. I miss
You know?
that. I miss being able to,
Yeah.
do 40 songs of a 150 song list, and then the next gig do some different ones and, mix them up.
Yeah.
Um, I'm playing. Although we did just learn for Rockbox, we learned two new songs. We only played one of them this past weekend, and we're playing the other new one this coming weekend.
Mm.
Um, "Lonely is the Night" by Billy Squire.
Yeah. Good tune.
We did that this past weekend, and it went better than I thought it would. They're trying to get early night songs, like early in the night. We do more classic rock, a little more obscure than the Don't Stop Believins. That comes
Hmm.
later. So they wanted to have some new songs for that period of the night, the early part of the night. So
But that's a
that was
very
that.
well-known song, maybe
Yeah.
obscure like compared to other ones, but it's a Billy Squire hit.
Well,
It's
we
not
do
something
Everybody
outside.
Wants You. We also do Everybody Wants You. We've been doing that
Yeah,
one.
we do that too.
But Lonely is the Night, it's I've never heard another band do it. So that's why I say obscure. I think when people pick a Billy Squire song, they pick Everybody Wants You. I
Yes,
think that's
I
the
would
one.
agree.
And then we're doing "Rockin' Into the Night" by 38 Special this coming weekend, and we've
Nice.
already been doing "Hold On Loosely," for forever. Everybody does "Hold On Loosely," so we're doing "Rockin' Into the Night." So that's fun. That keeps it fresh. I like learning new songs. I like them. It makes everything fresh, kind of somehow.
Yeah, you need a little shot of adrenaline once in a while.
Yeah. So,
That's good though.
but yeah. So
So I
the
think
two
this.
bands.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So the two bands, it's a different way of looking at it as far as engaging with the crowd, and neither one is necessarily better. They're just different. Um, I think we do better with tips by really involving people in the crowd. Um, it might just be that it's during the day, though. It might just be that it's that room. It might just be the particular personnel in the band who know how to do that, how to interact, that are comfortable with it and don't do it as shtick, but do it as like, uh,
Second nature almost.
yeah, just do it as whatever the situation is,
Right.
whatever's warranted there, wherever the person's from. There's always we always ask where people are from. Being that we're in a tourist town, and there's always something that you can go with based on that information.
Well,
Where they're from.
there's so many variables, like you said, right?
Beach.
As to how to connect with the crowd. So I think each.
PJ is here. What's up, PJ?
Hey, PJ. So I think each band, right, out there has to decipher for themselves what works, right? What
Yeah.
is your shtick? What is your connection with the crowd, and how does it work? It's going to be different for every band, right? Because, like you said, variables, personalities, rooms, crowds. The same thing may not work all the time. So you find what works for you, right? And you got to be comfortable with it. Like you said, you can't be forced because then it will seem that way, right? Like,
Right. Yeah. You want to be natural, definitely.
yeah.
I mean, yeah. There's nothing wrong, I guess, with doing the same shtick all the time. Um, because it doesn't. I wouldn't force isn't the right word.
No, no, not I don't mean that.
Yeah.
I mean the same shtick all the time is not be forced. I mean, like if you said like, "Hey, we don't typically, you know, do requests, right? Because we're a show band." Right? So that's what I'm saying. It's like forced nature would be to say, okay, well, let's try for the next 5 gigs to just take requests and try this app that Steve's talking about. You know what I mean? It might work, it might not work. Like, so each band has its own thing, right? Some things just happen naturally. Like I said, for my band, the request thing wouldn't work well for us because we have a show and we have a certain routine of songs that we do, and out of those
Right.
150 songs, there's probably realistically 20 that never get touched,
Right.
between gigs or rehearsals. So someone requests that, I'm sure there'd be one person in the band that would say, I'm not prepared to do that. Like I haven't played that song in 2 years. I can't do it right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
That sort of thing. So as long as you're prepared for that, that's what I guess I mean by forced, right? Like your day band, that's a common thing with the requests, right? So you guys are ready for that. It's no
Mhm.
pressure. No pressure. You don't go
Right.
there saying like, oh God, I hope someone doesn't request XYZ song because we haven't done it in a while,
Right.
It's
Right.
like you
Right.
go there and you're like, hey, whatever the request we're going to play and we're going to get tipped for it. And it's part of the routine. So that's what I mean when I say it's natural. It's not forced. It's not like you're
Right.
trying to do something that you're not comfortable with to make it work.
Right. Yeah. We do songs that we've never played before.
Sure.
We're willing to try that. And
But I mean,
uh,
you're up for it. It's not
yeah.
forced, right? Like you're not saying, hey, Pete, you have to play this song. And he's like, but I don't know it. I'm afraid to play it. No, everyone's like, hey, I don't know, but let's just do it, right? We'll just get through it and we'll figure it out and we'll be
Right.
on to the next song in 3 minutes from now.
Right. So yeah, like Tony said, do what's
Stuff.
best for you. Try different things, see what works, and but don't be afraid to try stuff.
And break down the wall.
Coverbandcentral.com is where you can go for all things Cover Band Central. Sign up for a profile for you, your band, or both. It is free. Coverbandcentral.com. Go check it out. And if you need to contact me or us, Steve at coverbandcentral.com is the way to go. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. The link is in the description. Check us out on Pantheon, and check out all the other great music-related podcasts that are there.
Yeah.
And subscribe to everything that we have. That's all I'm asking. That's not a lot to ask.
Subscribe to everything we have immediately now. It's not a big ask. It's easy.
Thank you guys all for watching and listening. And we are planning something big for episode 200. So stick around for that as we get closer and closer. You'll see it's going to be great. In the meantime, be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. We'll see you next time.